Hey everyone, there's something really important that many older women completely miss when they're dating younger men. It's something quite subtle, yet incredibly powerful. It's not about how many nice messages he sends you, or how often he gives you compliments, or even how frequently he calls you. It's actually about the kind of questions he asks. These questions might not seem like a huge deal at first glance, but they carry significant emotional weight and genuinely reveal what's going on deep inside him. I'm going to walk you through 5 specific questions a younger man asks when he's genuinely developing strong feelings for an older woman. And honestly, most women just don't notice these vital signs. Make sure you stay with me until the very end, because the last question truly tells you everything about where his heart genuinely lies. Let's be honest for a moment. Dating as a woman in your 30s, 40s, or even older, especially when you're with a younger man, can feel quite complicated. People often have a lot of preconceived notions and outdated stereotypes about it. Society frequently suggests that younger men aren't prepared for deep emotional connections or serious commitment, particularly with a woman who possesses more life experience and emotional maturity. They tend to act as if younger men are solely seeking casual fun or something brief before they eventually settle down with someone closer to their own age. But that entire way of thinking is quite old-fashioned and rather lazy. According to a 2022 study by the Pew Research Center, approximately 8% of straight couples in the United States involve a woman dating a younger man. That percentage might not appear massive, but it's nearly double what it was just a decade ago. This isn't just a random occurrence. It clearly indicates that more women are choosing their partners based on authentic connection and compatibility rather than strictly adhering to age norms. Furthermore, more younger men are increasingly drawn to the confidence, emotional depth, and self-awareness that older women naturally possess. However, even with this evolving shift in dating trends, many older women still struggle to identify when a younger man is truly invested in the relationship. You might find yourself captivated by the way he looks at you, the kind words he shares, or the playful messages he sends, but none of those things truly tell you if he's genuinely serious. The real, undeniable sign lies in the types of questions he begins to ask. Men don't always express their deepest feelings through grand gestures or declarations. Quite often, their emotional side comes out through the insightful things they inquire about. These questions originate from a place of genuine curiosity, growing trust, and a quiet hope for something much deeper. If you don't pay close attention to these subtle yet profound moments, you might unintentionally miss what he's truly feeling. You could end up dedicating your valuable time, energy, and affection to someone who isn't serious. Or, even worse, you might overlook a wonderful guy who is quietly trying to forge a deeper connection with you. This is because in relationships, especially those with an age difference, what matters most isn't just the words themselves, but the underlying emotional tone, the specific timing, and the clear intent behind them. So why do so many older women miss these crucial signs? It's often because we've been conditioned to focus on superficial indicators. Did he arrive on time for your date? Did he remember your birthday? Did he post a picture of the two of you online? And yes, those things do matter to some extent, but when it comes to assessing genuine emotional maturity and long-term interest, particularly from a man who might still be figuring himself out, the questions he asks are frequently far more significant than the things he explicitly states. In a 2020 study published in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships, researchers observed 127 couples where the woman was at least 7 years older than the man over a 2-year period. They carefully examined how these couples communicated, how their emotional bond evolved, and how satisfied they remained in their relationships. What they discovered was truly eye-opening. Younger men who initially showed interest through physical touch or overt romantic gestures later demonstrated their real, deeper feelings through more profound, emotional conversations. The couples who engaged in these types of open, emotionally revealing discussions early in the relationship reported being 35% more satisfied after 18 months compared to those who only kept their interactions light and superficial. That tells you something profoundly important. Questions truly matter, not just casual small talk, but the kind of questions that demonstrate he wants to understand your entire world, that he's interested in much more than your appearance or your outward confidence. He's genuinely interested in your thoughts, your deepest emotions, and your future aspirations. These kinds of questions typically emerge when you're in a relaxed setting, perhaps lying quietly next to each other, sharing a meal at dinner, or simply enjoying a calm, intimate moment together. They might seem insignificant, but they are brimming with meaning because they stem from a place of authentic interest. Here's one to really pay close attention to. What do you think you'll be doing in 5 or 10 years? At first, this might sound like a simple, harmless question, but if a younger man asks you this, it strongly suggests he's thinking well beyond just the present day. He genuinely wants to know your long-term plans and is silently wondering if there's a potential place for him in that future picture you're envisioning. This question clearly indicates that he views you as someone worth potentially building a future life with, not just as someone to spend a casual evening with. Another one you might hear is, have you ever wanted to move somewhere else or start something completely new? Again, this sounds quite light and open-ended, but it says a tremendous amount. A guy who's only interested in fleeting fun won't care much about your profound dreams or any significant changes you might wish to make in your life. However, a man who is genuinely falling for you will want to understand what truly excites you. He wants to explore how open you are to personal change, growth, and new experiences, not just in terms of where you reside, but how you live your life more broadly. You might also hear him ask, what was your childhood like? Now, this particular question goes really deep. When a man asks you this, he's seeking a much closer, more intimate bond. He genuinely wants to understand the foundational experiences that shaped you into the person you are today, the joys, the sorrows, the resilience, and the love that defined your early years. This kind of question is absolutely not small talk. It's a sincere inquiry, and it demonstrates that he wants to comprehend all of you, not just the version he currently sees, but the complete life story that brought you to this very moment. Another truly significant one is, do you think about having kids or starting a family? He's not asking this to pressure you in any way. He's asking to determine if your fundamental long-term goals align with his. A younger man who asks this kind of question is thinking far beyond the immediate moment. He's seriously considering commitment and what a shared future with you might actually look like. That is definitely not casual interest. That's someone whose heart is actively involved in the consideration. And finally, the most powerful question of all, how do you want to feel in a relationship? He's not asking about the specific qualities you look for in a man or what kind of partner you desire. Instead, he's asking about your deepest emotions, how you truly want to feel every single day within a partnership. That kind of question demonstrates profound seriousness. He wants to be the one who provides you with that feeling. He wants to understand what genuinely matters to you on an emotional level, not just what you verbally express, but what your heart truly needs. And younger men almost never ask these kinds of deeply personal questions unless they genuinely care. They are often still exploring their own feelings, so when they go out of their way to inquire about yours, it means something incredibly significant. So if you start noticing a younger man asking these types of thoughtful questions about your future, your past, your aspirations, and your profound feelings, do not ignore them. These questions are like direct signs pointing straight to his heart. You don't need to overanalyze every single word or action. Just listen, truly listen. If the curiosity sounds authentic, chances are his feelings are too. When a man is truly falling for an older woman, it typically doesn't come with grand declarations or dramatic gestures. It emerges in quiet, reflective moments through honest inquiries and a genuine desire to truly know the real you. And when you begin to recognize these subtle yet powerful signs, you won't have to wonder how he feels anymore. This kind of emotional depth hits differently when it comes from a younger man. A guy who's not serious will usually keep conversations on a superficial level. Where to go for dinner, what movie to watch, or weekend plans. Those are safe topics, easy to discuss, requiring no real emotional investment. But if he starts asking about where you envision yourself in 10 years, what kind of life you genuinely desire, or what you hold most dear, that's no longer just small talk. That's him quietly assessing if he belongs in your future. A 2019 study from the University of Kansas found that men who asked future-based questions early in a relationship were 43% more likely to express a desire for long-term relationships. That's a huge difference. It clearly shows that these questions aren't random. They signify that he's thinking seriously. He's not just being polite, he's actively envisioning if your lives could genuinely blend together. He's imagining a shared future. And by the way, if any of this is resonating with you, if you've ever felt confused, wondering why he suddenly pulled away just when things seem to be getting good, you are definitely not alone. That very confusion is precisely why we created something incredibly special for women like you. It's called the 7-Step Male Mind Decoder. It comprehensively breaks down what's truly happening in his mind, even when he's not explicitly saying it. You'll learn how to accurately read his behavior, recognize the undeniable signs of genuine commitment, and finally stop second-guessing yourself. You'll find the download link in the description, and yes, it's completely free. Now, let's move on to the next question that holds deep emotional significance. What was the most important lesson your last relationship taught you? At first, this might sound like just another piece of small talk, but it is far, far more than that. When a man is truly falling for you, he doesn't just care about what you do for fun or what music you enjoy. He wants to understand your emotional journey and strength. He's not asking to judge you or to use it against you. Rather, he wants to learn where your heart has been and what profound experiences have helped shape it. Men who are emotionally mature and genuinely open understand that our past experiences significantly shape who we are today. They comprehend that we don't just appear in this present moment without carrying memories, moments of pain, and significant personal growth from everything we've lived through. If he's truly interested in a deep connection, he'll want to know the lessons that fundamentally altered how you perceive love and trust. He's genuinely curious about what may have broken your heart, what helped it eventually heal, and how you now define concepts like safety, connection, and closeness within a relationship. According to clinical psychologist Ramani Durvasula, one of the clearest and most reliable signs of real romantic interest is a man's willingness to openly discuss emotional history. Right. So he's asking about your past romantic relationships and what you've picked up from them. This kind of questioning actually hints at two deeper concerns on his part. First, he's gently probing to see if there's any emotional hurt you might still be carrying around from those old experiences. Second, he wants to find out if he can truly measure up to the new standards you've set for yourself, the ones that grew out of those very lessons. But even beyond just those 2 points, his willingness to ask this shows he's absolutely not intimidated by your age, your personal depth, or the things that have happened in your past. He actually respects those parts of you. In his eyes, those experiences are simply components of what makes you such a captivating and interesting person. He sees them as additions to your story, not as roadblocks. Another inquiry that might appear minor but holds a great deal of significance is when he asks, how do you like to spend your time alone? On the surface, this might seem like a casual or even unimportant question, something you might just brush off, but it reveals far more than you'd initially believe. Men who aren't deeply invested on an emotional level usually only care about the moments you spend directly with them. They'll meticulously plan dates, inquire about how your weekend went, and frequently utter phrases like, what do you feel like doing tonight? But a man who is experiencing something more profound, something truly deeper, genuinely desires to understand the version of you that exists when absolutely no one else is around. He truly wants to grasp who you are when you're not making any effort to impress anyone, when you're simply being yourself. This particular question is genuinely about uncovering your natural rhythm, discovering how you genuinely relax, and identifying the parts of your personality that emerge when you are completely by yourself. Psychology Today once shared the findings of a study that highlighted one of the most powerful indicators of a successful, long-term pairing is how well individuals respect each other's need for time alone, how you recharge your personal energy, how you process and make sense of the various aspects of life, and how you safeguard your inner peace and energy. All of these things truly matter. If a man asks you this, it means he's not solely attracted to the woman who always appears impeccably put together for a dinner date. He's beginning to develop feelings for the woman in her comfortable clothes on a peaceful Sunday, with her hair casually tied up and a good book resting in her hand. And that truly means something incredibly important. Now let's move on to another incredibly impactful question. What's something you've always wanted to do but haven't gotten around to yet? This isn't just a light-hearted or arbitrary question designed to fill silence. It actually communicates a significant amount. When a man poses this question, he isn't merely focusing on your past accomplishments or a simple list of things you've already checked off. He's genuinely drawn to your aspirations, to the things that still ignite a spark of excitement within you, to what might make you feel a little nervous, and to the dreams you've set aside for far too long. It unequivocally tells you that he yearns to know what still resides and thrives within your heart. This particular type of man doesn't wish to be just a fleeting moment in the grand narrative of your life story, wants to actively contribute to helping you write entirely new chapters. He wants to offer his support for your hopes and to enthusiastically witness your personal growth. When a man asks questions that delve this deeply, it powerfully indicates genuine emotional investment on his part. It's his way of implicitly saying, I don't just care about the person you were, I want to be an integral part of the person you are becoming. That kind of specific, focused attention isn't something you get from someone who's just casually passing the time with you. It comes from someone who genuinely envisions a future with you. These inquiries might appear straightforward at first glance, but they are far from random. They clearly reveal how a man truly thinks, what he truly values in a person, and precisely how serious his intentions are concerning you. So the next time you happen to hear him ask something that penetrates deeper than usual, do not disregard it. He might not be uttering the words, I love you, just yet, but through those quiet, thoughtful questions, he's undeniably showing you the direction his heart is moving in, where it's truly headed. And the honest truth is not always the grand dramatic gestures or the big actions that genuinely demonstrate someone is falling in love. Often it's found in the quiet, honest moments when he leans in, genuinely wishing to truly understand you, not just the words you speak, but the very essence of who you are. So make sure to listen very closely. His words might be soft, almost a whisper, but the underlying meaning is incredibly powerful. They convey much more than you might at first assume. If you pay careful attention, you will undoubtedly hear the truth resonating behind his questions. And if you are truly prepared to respond with openness, with honesty, and with your inherent strength, then you are indeed ready for the kind of love that steadily develops into something truly enduring and strong. A study conducted by eHarmony in 2018 demonstrated that couples who regularly engaged in discussions about their shared goals and consistently provided mutual support for one another experience a remarkable 50% higher rate of reported happiness in their romantic relationships. Therefore, if he asks you about your aspirations and genuinely listens with sincere interest, it's an undeniable and powerful indicator. It signifies that he can clearly visualize himself right beside you in that cooking class you've always yearned to take, or embarking on that dream trip you've fantasized about for many years. When a man takes the time to ask such questions and genuinely absorbs your answers, it means he's not solely focused on the version of the woman standing directly in front of him right now. He's profoundly curious about the woman you are still in the process of becoming. That specific kind of curiosity lies at the very core of emotional closeness. It is his implicit way of communicating, I truly believe in your future, and I genuinely want to be a part of it. Not every man behaves this way. In fact, most will not, unless they are genuinely serious about establishing something long-term and meaningful. A man who is merely passing through your life generally doesn't inquire about your future. However, the precise moment he starts picturing life with you, he naturally begins to ask more deeply thoughtful questions. When he begins to conceive of you as an integral part of his own life journey, it's no longer just about discussing weekend plans. It transforms into building something truly substantial, growing together as individuals and learning to navigate the complexities of life side by side. That profound level of connection originates from genuine emotional commitment, not just from simple physical attraction. So if a man ever poses questions to you about your aspirations, do not simply dismiss it as insignificant. That might well be his quiet way of saying, I want to help you make those dreams a reality. And that particular kind of love, the one that actively supports your personal growth and doesn't ever fear it, is exceptionally rare. It truly sets him apart from others. It implies that he views your personal successes not as any form of threat, but as something he wholeheartedly wishes to champion and celebrate. He desires to elevate you, to lift you up, not to ever hold you back or hinder your progress.